we're looking for procedures. We're looking for diets that don't work. We're barking up the wrong tree everywhere we go. And it's just making it worse. People are more confused than ever. And it's an absolute crying shame. The latest cousin to the paleo that's just tearing it up right now is the whole ketogenic diet.
Tell me, I'm interested in your perspective on that, because that is on center stage right now.
And I think it's one of the most dangerous things that's out there.
All right, y'all, what we're going to do is take a look at some clips of Rip Esselstyn on the Rich Roll podcast talking about a keto or a ketogenic diet. That's right, Rip Esselstyn of the Engine 2 diet, My Beef with Meat, the Plant Strong movement, and the upcoming 2018 documentary, The Game Changers. This man is on fire right now. And this is a tremendously important interview for all the young men out there seeking self-improvement, weight loss, health, and nutrition advice, because the low-carb and keto promoters capture their audience at the most vulnerable point when they are trying to lose weight or get healthy or otherwise seek health advice. I want you to pay attention to how present to the moment these two are in their discussion and how aware they are of the way public opinion is being managed. And then we'll talk about some things we can do together to help empower young men to avoid the low-carb trap.
Well, on the confusion piece, it's a weird time because we've never had more immediate access to information than ever.
Yeah.
And part of that is amazing. And another part of that is, creates that confusion, especially in the health and nutrition space where there's so much conflicting information, and people don't have time to read all this stuff, and they're going to look at the headline, they're going to move on. Nobody's reading these studies. Nobody's taking the time to see how the studies were performed or who paid for them.
Right.
And they're just trying to get through the day, right? And so how do you cut through that morass and get the truth out?
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it sounds.
No. Or they're going to look at the headlines, maybe skim it, and then just look for some takeaways that allow them, right, to have their butter, to have
feel good about what they're doing,
their bacon or whatever it is. I mean, the latest cousin to the paleo that's just tearing it up right now is the whole ketogenic diet.
Tell me, I'm interested in your perspective on that, because that is on center stage right now.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, I mean, basically what they're saying is you can have your bacon, you can have your eggs, you can have your sausage, you can have your butter, and as long as you kind of get your body to go in this state where you're burning fat, you're doing minimal to no carbohydrates, you put your body basically into this starvation state, you can lose weight and you can fight cancer. And I think it's one of the most dangerous things that's out there. It's crazy. But the whole keto thing, it's amazing how the whole Atkins thing just won't go away, right? As McDougall always says, right? You love to hear, good things about your bad habits, but it was Atkins, and then it was South Beach, and then it was, Paleo, and now it's keto. It's like
it's interesting how the focal point and the conversation has pivoted. Like, you don't hear so much about paleo anymore. It's all kind of moved towards keto and low carb. And it's fascinating. Certainly at the crux of that is the fact that people want to hear good news about their bad habits, because who doesn't want to be told that, like, they should be eating bacon for breakfast? It's like, I get it. But I think it's something more than that too. Like, I think there's something about the way that silo, that camp communicates to the public. And I think they understand, they're maybe a little bit more internet savvy and fluent in how we communicate in this modern age than perhaps our plant-based community is. And I think there's something to be learned from that.
Sure. About
how we can improve, because I feel like we're challenged in really connecting with people in a way that I think we're capable of. And I don't know what the answer to that is.
Yeah.
But we have some work to do, I think.
Circumstances today are such that public opinion on nutrition is being swayed not based on the strength of the evidence, but rather the effectiveness of the communication. The low-carb trap catches people by emphasizing health messages that reinforce their existing food preferences. Allow me to suggest the way you and I can combat this is by showing the idiocracy of their reductionist nutritional approach using mockery and memes. That's right, memes, and dare I even say shame. No, not fat shaming, keto shaming. Don't you think people should be ashamed or ostracized for basing their behavior on misguided preferences? Preferences that destroy their health long term, contribute to the epidemic of diseases of dietary excess and nutritional ignorance, and trash the environment at the same time. Yes, mockery and shame are appropriate, and they will be uncompromisingly featured on this channel. You and I can take this to another level and reach people without fear.
Yeah, and like, for example, just last week, ABC Good Morning America did a segment on this new keto book that's out there. And this beautiful news anchor was saying how, yeah, I've lost weight, and I had breast cancer, and now I'm fighting my breast cancer, and look what I can eat. I can eat sausage and bacon and eggs. And they actually showed her putting butter into her coffee. And I can tell you right now, in the era that we're living in now, that thing has gotten basically, forwarded on to that little 5-minute segment to more people. That book was #1 on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy.
And all that IGF-1 and casein and animal protein, like, what's going to happen?
And carnitine and lecithin.
The cancer.
And insidiously destructive animal protein and cholesterol and trans fats and saturated fats. It's just, the list goes on and on and on.
You can see they know how public opinion is being managed. Even the mainstream media is promoting irresponsible and dangerous fad diets. I can't glance at the television at my gym without noticing a South Beach diet commercial. How do you combat fake news when your platform isn't nearly as big? Memes. Memes, mockery, humor, shame, and beyond that by living a lifestyle that other people want to imitate.
So what happens when someone comes up to you and says, yeah, but like saturated fat is not, I read this, like that's been debunked. Like saturated fat does not lead to elevated serum cholesterol. It's not that bad for you. We've been duped. That was propaganda by the sugar industry. Or
I'd say if you look at the preponderance of the scientific literature when it comes to saturated fat, you'll actually see that it actually does promote heart disease, that it promotes type 2 diabetic insulin resistance, that it actually does fuel cancers. But, really, to me, the bottom line is that you're not going to find saturated fat in any plants. I mean, it doesn't exist in plants. Yeah, in some nuts and some seeds, right? And
avocado,
coconut,
mm-hmm.
right? Right. But fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, it doesn't exist. So, to me, the saturated fat, it's the lifeblood. It's really the lifeblood of the Paleo Keto program. And so if we were to say scientifically, definitively, saturated fat contributes to all these things and it is a bad map pajama, they wouldn't have a program anymore. So they've got to, stand up and scream and shout and say, no, there's nothing wrong with saturated fat. But look at what
But they're better at shouting, because that ends up on the cover of Time magazine or what have you. And what you just said gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then look at the friends that saturated fat keeps, right? That whole laundry list that you and I just rattled off there, right? The IGF, right? The carnitine, the lecithin, the wrong kind of destructive animal protein, the cholesterol. I mean, it's just like that's what you're also getting with saturated fat, right? So let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saturated fat. But everything else that saturated fat lives with in the red meat, the chicken, the fish, the eggs, the milk, the cheese, the butter, the yogurt, you can't get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
All those things.
All right, y'all. Hope you enjoyed chopping it up over this conversation. And if you have any funny ideas for memes or you want to send me a meme, then just let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to avoid the low-carb trap, make sure you keep it subscribed right here at Red Pill Vegan. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.